If you've ever felt like you've been trapped in a time loop, go ahead and click that follow button. Welcome everyone to Tabletop Cinema, where we bring together the worlds of filmmaking, tabletop role-playing, and video games. I'm your host Mikey, a freelance filmmaker, tabletop RPG game master, and variety streamer. And thanks to you all, we've hit affiliate status on Twitch. So today, we'll be returning to our first playthrough of The Forgotten City, an award-winning narrative adventure set in the cursed final days of an ancient Roman city. Kind of messed those adjectives up, but yeah, The Forgotten City. Today is part 3 of first playthrough, and we've hit a lot of good leads. But there's still a lot to uncover in this mystery, and we don't have much time to do it, even though time is on our side. So welcome once again. Do you have to choose? Hey, welcome back, Three-Eyed Magpie, Korgol, regulars on the stream. It's good to see you too. It's not showing because they have the founder badge. Is that a... So it supersedes it? Or do you get to choose? It's strange because my name shows 3 of it. I'm not sure if you see the dragon egg next to my Prime Gaming and broadcaster icons. Anyway. Weird Twitch stuff. It's my first time being here on Twitch. First time streaming like this. And it's been a great 3 weeks so far. 3 weeks? Has it been 3 weeks already? God, it has been 3 weeks. This is our 3rd week. So just thankful for all the support. And by the way, since you're here, I've decided to continue playing through Life is Strange True Colors every Friday. So that's going to be another special extended stream. I don't know why I'm doing that to myself. That's going to be another extended stream from 1 to 7 p.m. Philippine time, or GMT +8. I need to find a better way to, I'm pretty sure there's a better time format I should be posting my stuff on. But you know what time it is. And it'll be good to see you all there again, because I'm going to cry again, I'm pretty sure. Yes, you've been blessed. Hello, Licharts. You've been blessed by... Oh, damn, it's Passion today. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I love it when Passion sits there, but just a few seconds. Just a minute earlier, Maya was in there. I don't think she's ever been part of the stream yet. I think she's camera shy. I think the only time Maya appeared on stream was during the Lost episode, which is Lost. So maybe one of these days, she'll be able to fight for the chair and reclaim it. Let's get back to the game. There are a lot of leads to find, and not enough time to do it. Let's go break this loop. Just like yesterday. Deathloop was super fun, by the way. What is it with time loops? And another thing. After Ghost of Tsushima on Saturday, one of the games lined up for it was actually Returnal, which is, guess what? Another time loop. It's a roguelike. Returnal on the PlayStation 5. So let me go ahead and turn off this music. Thank you, Streambeats, for providing the music each intro. But today we'll be returning to ancient Rome, where we've been flung 2,000 years into the past by a mysterious Karen. I'm not kidding. Karen is a mysterious figure that has sent us to the city, and apparently there's a common... where are my notes? We got our trusty manual notepad in place. One of my favorite pens. And let's get back to this investigation before we lose track of everything. Have I forgotten what happened? So today... Check this out. This is what we have right now on the active leads. So we ended last session telling the Magistrate about the incoming assassin who was sent by Nero to hunt down cultists led by a Quintius. I don't believe we met Quintius yet. There are some people we haven't met in the city. But for those who are just tuning in or need a refresher, what is the curse of the city? Or some would say it's a blessing. But people now are learning that the golden rule is more a curse than a blessing. Basically, under the golden rule, if one person sins, everyone dies. So it's a form of collective punishment brought upon by some unseen entity. We're not exactly sure if it's man-made or if it is truly from the gods. But this place was dedicated to a forgotten Greek god. And there are hints here that this city may actually have existed, even before the Greeks. So there's a common thread between everyone who's been trapped here. No one's been able to escape, but everyone has... So there are three common threads. Everyone remembers the river, the Tiber River. They remember fleeing near the Tiber River. They remember having valuables on their person or nearby. And they remember nothing about reaching this place other than waking up on the shore and sent by a hooded figure to the city. So more and more seeming like this is kind of a limbo of sorts, an afterlife, spanning Egyptian, Greek, and Roman gods. The cast has been quite colorful so far. There's so many threads interweaving between these relationships. And I've been having a great time just talking to people, learning more about them. But we've made some headway into our investigation. The goal of this game, according to the Magistrate, who was the one who conducted the ritual to bring us in from the future, we are to create a time paradox so that none of this would have happened. It doesn't always make sense to me, because when you introduce timey-wimey stuff like that, nothing really makes sense. Because if you create a time paradox, and if this never happened, then how would that thing have never happened if I never got there? It's just an endless... We're gonna play it out. We don't know everything. We don't know the extent of the time travel here. We just know that we are Daisy Bongs, an archaeologist from the Miskatonic University, brought in from 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years from now. Brought in now, and we have to break a time loop. So today, we just told the Magistrate about the assassin. He sanctioned us to execute him. I don't know why he didn't just send Horatius or someone with combat experience. I'm an archaeologist, for Christ's sake. But we're gonna see what we can do. Let's see if we can outwit him. We're gonna confront the assassin because Equitia, the Vestal priestess of this city, had something to show us in the baths. Now, the unfortunate thing is, the assassin just entered through the baths, via the aqueducts, by the way. Some things we know. What is a sin? That is a question that always comes up. Who really dictates what is right or wrong in this city? So far, we found out that murder is a sin. Suicide is not a sin. So there's someone we have to save, actually, in the next time loop with the information we've been given. We know that we're able to take items from the past into the next loops. And if there truly is a way to escape from the aqueducts, if that assassin came in from the aqueducts, most likely there's a way out. We have to determine if escaping is actually a sin. Rumors are that it is. And that an election is actually coming up. And we have to prevent Malleolus, who's currently in the running. We can't let him win. Because the current magistrate, there are rumors that he is a tyrant, that he's been using the Golden Rule as a shield for his corruption. But having spoken to him, he's the one who sacrificed his own life to conduct the ritual to bring us in to save his people. So it's true enough, no one really has all the answers. But we've learned that if Malleolus wins, thereby abolishing the Golden Rule in their human law and pushing through with it, he actually had... We've seen it happen. Malleolus won, and then he had Magistrate Sentius unlawfully executed in public, which triggered the Golden Rule and restarted time. So we can't let Malleolus win. That's another thread. So there's a lot of things to deal with here. So we just have to pick a lead and follow it and see where this path takes us. So now we will confront the assassin again. Let's see if there's any difference with the conversations, with the dialogue choices, and let's see if we can't lure him into an abandoned shrine. Let's see if we can lure him in there, because in the very first loop, we found out that this shrine is going to collapse if anyone steps in. Can we lure him in there? Probably not, because this guy does not take any shit. He's here to kill Quintius and the cultists. And he's not going to get by any of that. I don't have any high hopes for it. We're gonna try to talk to him. But if that doesn't work, we'll have to find a bow, I think, to defend ourselves. And maybe try to help some people along the way. Yes, the game of sin. Welcome back, Glitchcasts. Hopefully this will help you unwind a bit.
Keeping an eye on things, Horatius?
As always, priestess.
Any news about Scintilla, Naevia, or Kabash?
3 missing
No
people.
sign of any of them, I'm afraid. But we do have a newcomer. Strangely dressed woman. Pretty, though.
Oh, thank you.
Funny accent, too.
A traveller from
Accent.
a faraway land, then?
Seems that way.
Then let's make sure she feels welcome, shall we?
Of course, priestess.
Horatius and Equitia, they seem like a good sort. They've been supportive and helpful to us. These golden statues, people from previous cycles. And yes, I'm hearing voices in my head.
Help! You
Thanks for
have to
dropping
do
by,
something.
Lichcasts.
A man arrived in the baths. Real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's gonna break the golden rule.
So I have to tell Fabian not to go into the shrine.
Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over.
Do not go in there.
What? Why?
Just trust me.
All right, fine. Come and find me in my bakery instead. Please be careful.
Hopefully we won't be running into stream problems today. Just let me know if the buffering is off or if the sound is off. Right, assassin. I am unarmed.
Stop right there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus,
Quinctius
otherwise
Crispus.
known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
Yes, I saw him worshipping in a small round shrine just inside the city. Second building on your left. Am I good at lying? That sounds like a terrible lie.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now, but you'd best make sure our paths don't cross again.
All hail Emperor Nero. It worked. Oh, let's see this poor guy end up in a mishap. And it's not going to break the golden rule because it is an accident. I guess the god, or whoever is instigating this, whoever is enforcing this golden rule, there's not much nuance to it. I clearly told him with full knowledge that he's going to die.
Filthy, lying degenerate.
Well, I guess that wasn't my fault. And we have a bow. We were looking for a bow. 2 birds in 1 stone. Or should I say, 2 birds and 100 tons of stone. Wooden bow. Very nice. I don't exactly know how to shoot a bow. Bound you notice. By order of Emperor Nero, all loyal sons of Rome are ordered to hunt and execute the arsonist and murderer Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, a citizen from the Aventine district of Rome. He's about 40 to 50 years old. He's average height, average build, has dark hair, and has 1 green eye and 1 blue... Oh. We've seen someone with 1 green eye and 1 blue eye. That's Malleolus. By the way, Malleolus is an asshole. He worked up a scam alongside a tavern proprietress to rope people into debt, to get them into basically permanent debt bondage, and he treats his servants like shit. So that's another thread we tried to pick up last session. Yeah, Malleolus can't win, and Malleolus needs to go down, and apparently Malleolus is the one Emperor Nero is hunting down. He's typically clean-shaven. He's a known associate of cultists and suffers from delusions of grandeur. Very true. Very true. Malleolus. Now I have blackmail against Malleolus. Time to show that to the Magistrate and get Malleolus out of the running. But first, I guess this quest is telling me that I need to ask Malleolus whether he's Quintius. I should probably tell him, yeah, blackmail. I know you're Quintius. Step out of the race. Release those people from their debt bondage. And no one has to know about this. How does that sound? Daisy Barnes, archaeologist. I guess looting your body isn't a sin. That was productive. I didn't expect it to work, but we did it.
Keep an eye out for Scintilla, would you?
And there are 3 missing people. Scintilla, the adopted daughter of the Magistrate, kind of tried to elope with someone who jumped from the top there. We're gonna save him in the next loop. Once we have 2,000 denarii, or once we can break him out of that bondage. You know, Indiana Jones was a looter. I mean, I love Indiana Jones. I love the movies. But archaeologists don't do that.
Oi! How did you get in there, you cheeky little stirkus? If I cop an earful from Malleolus, I'll be coming for you.
Well, let's have a look with you. Let's have a chat with your employer, shall we? I know things, and I have proof. Well, it's actually not very good proof. It's easily forged. There's no signature or anything. There's no seal from Emperor Nero. I'm blanking right now. What was I going to do? Quests! And we're trying to get what seems to be a noble, good-hearted man, Galerius, elected. Because the election is kind of like the timer in this world. The time moves on, the election happens, and it basically can end the loop if Malleolus gets elected. So to help us extend our time, maybe we can try and get Galerius in, which will also help us free someone named Dooley, who, a man suffering from short-term memory loss, was unlawfully locked up because people thought that he was a liability. He can't read, he suffers from short-term memory loss, and everyone thinks he's going to commit sin because of his condition. So they locked him up. So that's something we're trying to solve as well, by getting Galerius elected so we can free Dooley. That's a lot, right? A lot's going on. I really love how this game is written so far. So figure out to make Malleolus drop out of the election. We're on that. Is it the... Where's the quest? There's a lot here. Okay, Scintilla's disappearance. Is it under behind closed doors? If Malleolus drops out... Wow, there's a lot of water under the bridge. And by the way, in the Cistern, there's supposedly a creature that eats people. No biggie. Just a creature that eats people. There. Democracy in action. Haha! Hello, Bloody Mary. You are using Baboosh Cat. I'm actually wondering if I should... It's kind of tiny. I'm not sure. Baboosh Cat is the first emote. If you're a sub, it's a tier 1 sub thing. Go ahead and get Baboosh Cat. Spam it on chat. And I'm planning to put all the cats up there in my emote panel. It was a sure thing. And hopefully down the road, I'll probably be able to commission someone to do animated emotes of my late cat Maple, who is actually Baboosh Cat right now. He's the model for Baboosh Cat. And in my head, Maple's in its grand adventure's backpack and sword and shield in hand. And who knows, I might commission someone to do animated emotes for higher sub tiers. And, you know, I'm trying this thing. Yes, I'm not sure if... Let me know. I need some feedback as well if Babush Cat is something that people want. Or if I should enlarge in the face. But I felt like Babush Cat, it's unfortunate you can't really zoom in on it. But I saw Babush Cat in full size and it can apply to many situations. Yeah, the thing is I'll have to go through the approval process again. It took, I think, a day, 2 days for Twitch to approve the emote. Yeah, I already have some cats lined up. I have Passion with a smiley open mouth. And Maya with a shocked, what the hell are you doing face. So once we get the sub... Basically, I need more sub points to unlock new emote slots. Right now, I only have 1. So the more... I believe the more people say subscribe, the more emotes we'll be able to get. So we're all in this together. I want to put the cats up there for all the tier 1 subs. Just so you can express yourselves a bit more. And immortalize my cats forever on Twitch. Yeah. So right now, I just started off with Maple, because Maple's always been my lap cat. He was the one that's been with me through all of these gaming adventures. The last game we played together was Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Unfortunately, he passed away before we finished Assassin's Creed Odyssey. But I finished it for him. And that was a great time. So Malleolus, or should I say, Quinctius?
You again. What is it now?
Oh, check this out, Three-Eyed Magpie. BTTV. I need to put more in my emote slots, but I believe I should be able to see, if you use BTTV emotes, I should be able to see them. I'm not sure if people see this now, the cat jam. Okay, that's from BTTV. So I enabled that thanks to Spot, if he ever sees this, or if they ever see this. Yeah, Spot was someone from the... Actually, I'm not sure if I know him in real life. But basically, he dropped in the chat, lurked, and reminded me about BTTV. So thank you, Spot. Now I can put one of my favorite animated emotes, Cat Jam. So try it out. If BTTV is working for you, maybe I'll be able to see the emotes. Or do I have to put it in my channel? That's something I have to test. This is all new to me. But there are global emotes for BTTV, so go ahead and try that out. The extension should work. I think I put it up already in my Twitch. Yes! But Three-Eyed Magpie, do you only see the global emotes and this one thing I put in for our channel? So I'll probably have to manually add in emotes I want. For my channel, I guess. So obviously I put Cat Jam first. My chat overlay isn't showing it. Oh, come on, Streamlabs, chat box. Is that a thing that I have to turn on? Ah, here we go. I've enabled it. Yeah, sorry, I'm just troubleshooting right now, but it should work now. Yeah, it's enabled. Take care, Kogo. Thanks for lurking. Yeah, anyway, thank you for reminding me about that, Three-Eyed Magpie. We got a cat jam. We got Babush Cat. Alright, we're in it. Let's get this bastard, Malleolus. So, you're Quinctius.
My name is Marcus Malleolus Gurgis. You seem to have confused me with someone else.
You have one green eye. Welcome, Hamsterfriend. I was about to thank you earlier. Thank you for sharing my tweet. But in true Hamsterfriend fashion, we actually hit affiliate status last week. But thank you. But thank you for trying to get people to get us to affiliate status. Thank you so much. Every share really helps. It's great that you're here, Hamsterfriend. We're just trying to get this guy, Malleolus, this jerk. The flow of time is convoluted. We are in another time loop, actually. Anyway, we're getting this guy. We have blackmail on him. No? You have one green eye and one blue eye, just like the description in this execution order from Emperor Nero.
You mean my heterochromia? I am guilty of nothing more than having different colored eyes. And I'm hardly the only person with the condition. Alexander the Great had it too, as it happens.
Illusions of grandeur much?
I like to think it is simply the way the gods have chosen to mark a natural-born ruler. Nothing more.
Okay, so the execution note is not enough. I could probably inform the magistrate about this. Apparently, Quintius also suffers from delusions of grandeur.
Well, I am not suffering from any delusions, as today's election will firmly establish.
I can't prove it's you yet, but I will.
Unlikely, because it simply isn't true. Now, was there something else you wanted?
I'll be going now, Quintius.
I trust you can see yourself out. Through the door this time. There's a key just beside it.
What else do I need on this guy? Find evidence linking Malleolus to the name Quintius. I'll need more evidence linking Malleolus to the name Quintius. Figure out how to make Malleolus drop out. Well, let's see if we can't find any more information from him. Greek lion statue. A Greek statue of a lion. Fascinating. Oh, I already took the key in a previous loop. So where would he be hiding your dirty laundry? They're here in the storeroom. These carrots are purple, as they were before modern orange carrots were cultivated. Carrots were purple back then. You see that? That's a carrot. Oh man, they got it clear without you. You know, I'm excited to get into Savage Raiding and FF14. I just haven't really found the motivation to, but a static goes a long way. Is it here in this pot? No. Hello, Claudia.
Do I need to call Domitius? Get out!
I'm just looking for information. Is there a convenient document lying around that says, I am Quintius and I burn half of Rome? No? I guess not. How much denarii do we have? Here's what I'm going to do, chat. I'm gonna steal this denarii from this bastard and use it in the next loop to save the poor friends who are living under debt bondage with this guy. Well, it's been nice knowing you.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
The question is if I can make it out alive. You deserve this, Quintius! Oh, not there. Over here, don't get shot. We have a bow. We have 2,000 denarii to free our people. Not our people, to free our friends. We can make it out alive. How poetic is that? We stole from Malleolus, and we're gonna give his money back. To free our people. To free our friends. Sorry, I just keep Prince of Egypt. Keep remembering that.
Salve, friend. Mind telling me who you are and why you look like you've just taken on a gladiator and lost?
Galerius. Galerius is so great. He has no idea why the hell I just arrived from the Shrine of Proserpina. And check this out. We can basically tell him everything that we've learned, and he'll go ahead and do it and help these people, saving us precious time. Galerius, I'm Daisy Bonds, and I need you to take care of some things urgently.
Oh, sounds serious. I'm listening.
1. Julius is dying, but Lucretia can't stop her without this silphium. Take some of it and go, quickly.
Julia? Oh no. Alright, I can do that.
Rufius has been threatening Virgil, but if you give him some of this willow bark, it will treat his rheumatism and he'll settle down.
Poor Virgil. Poor Rufius too, I guess. Alright, got it.
And I need you to stop Fabia entering the shrine and tell the new arrival he'll find what he's looking for in there. Alright, Galerius?
Alright, let me see. Stop Fabia going in, but send the new arrival to the empty shrine. Understood.
That's it! Now go, Galerius, as fast as you can. I'll get you elected next election.
I'll go, but once I'm done, I'll need you to tell me how you know all of this.
Right, I will. Bye, Galerius. Hurry up. Now, let's save Ulpius. Let's save Ulpius from a tragic fall because we have the denarii. Perhaps they'll give us information about their employer, Malleolus. Oh, guess what? We have a bow. Yeah, we have a bow. Now, I saw this in the trailer, unfortunately, so it's kind of a cheat, but I'm wondering how we actually learn to solidify these bridges. Okay, I guess it's a power we learn later on, but I saw it in the trailer. It's something to do with the bow. And this temple is dedicated to an unknown god. It is currently locked, but I believe someone locked herself in here. Maybe there's a way in, but for now, let's save Ulpius.
Salve, friend. I'm Octavia. Welcome to life under the Golden Rule. It's a ghastly thing, is it not? How are you faring so far?
We'll get to talk to Octavia next time. Actually, I really need to talk to Ulpius.
Alright, well, it was lovely to meet you. I look forward to getting to know you better over the coming months. And if you ever...
I can't believe this is how it ends.
Oh no. No.
Talk you off that ledge.
No. Ulpius, what are you doing? Get back from there. If you lose your balance, you'll fall.
That's the idea.
What? Why? Why would you want that?
Why do you think I'm stuck for the rest of my life working for a man who treats me like an animal?
I know things are hard for you right now. They're hard for all of us. We're all in this together, Ulpius. Please just think this through. If you do this, it could be the sin that seals all of our fates. Is that what you want?
I'm sorry, but I just don't care anymore.
Please, Ulpius. Help him. If he goes through with it, it could be the end for us all. I don't know what to do. I've never had to deal with this sort of thing. Please, you need to talk to him.
Hamsterfen, I have no idea. Time is just... Well, we're trying to speedrun it now. Alright. Back to it. Alright, I'll talk to him.
Thank you. And please, choose your words carefully.
Ulpius, is this what Sentilia would want?
You know about that? How is that possible? I mean, I've never mentioned it to anyone.
So rumors were... So, Sentilia, the adopted daughter of the Magistrate, left a letter that she would be escaping this place, and we found out that she escaped with a lover. Another rumor was that this lover actually killed Sentilia to prevent her from escaping, but we found out now that that lover was this man, Ulpius. Ulpius, you'd never believe me if I told you.
Well, If you say so. You don't understand. I don't want to hurt anyone. I just want it all to be over.
Maybe I can help solve your problem.
It's too late for that. Julia and I made a pact, and she's already swallowed hemlock this morning. If I backed out now, I'd be betraying her. I can't do that.
Lucretia was able to get Silphium in time to save her life. She's going to be fine.
Oh, really? That changes things a little. But we're still in debt bondage to that monster. Unless you happen to have 2,000 denarii to pay off both of our debts.
Actually, I do.
Really? Wait. So, I guess you'd want me to work for you then?
No. No, you'd be free.
You'd do that for us? A couple of complete strangers?
Of course.
It seems today we are both blessed. This did not turn out how I thought. Thank you, friend. I never thought people like you existed.
I'm not even supposed to be here. I'm from the future. Let's try that face. Oh man, this just makes your sorry. All the facial animations right now, all the models, the whole engine, the whole graphics engine is just here to remind you that yes, we were once a standalone Skyrim mod. Here's our awkward facial animations and goofy faces. But come on, this guy, he's had a hard time. It's about time he's free. Use it well, Ulpius. Here's your money. If Malleolus decides not to honor it, I'm gonna come for him.
Thank you. I'll go and pay off our debts immediately. I just wish there was some way I could repay you. But I have nothing but the tunic on my back.
Information. You could tell me about your relationship with Centilia. Perhaps it would help find her.
Ah. And there it is. All right. Centilia and I were in love. And then, 22 days ago, she went missing.
That is so surprisingly specific, Hamstafwen, but I can see it. I can totally see it in this guy's face. Why don't you start from the beginning, Ulpius?
All right. One night a few months ago, when I was cleaning Malleolus's villa, I heard a young woman singing. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard. I wasn't allowed out, so once everyone else was asleep, I climbed up the inside of the villa and onto the roof, just to see where that sound was coming from. And that's when I saw her. Standing in the garden of the Magistrate's villa, I just sat there on the roof, listening to her with my chin on my knees. And for the first time in a long time, I felt hopeful. And then she looked up and saw me and she smiled. I knew at that moment the fates had brought me to her. And from the moment she asked my name with this warmth and curiosity, I knew I'd have done anything for her. And so for weeks on end, each night I'd climb out of the villa and into her father's garden. We'd hold hands and talk about all the things we'd do once we got out of here. Like having our own vineyard. And then one morning I woke up and everyone was out searching for her. They said she'd vanished in the night. All I could do was keep my head down and try to hide how beside myself I was. Centilia was the one thing that made my life bearable. But with her gone, things unraveled quickly. You saw how bad it got.
Centilia didn't take you. Is it possible she escaped somehow? So the current rumor is that the woman named Aurelia knows a way out. And we found out that this way out was a bottle of hemlock. And it's not a sin because it's technically a way out. And so she's connected to Malleolus, scamming these people, putting them in debt, forcing them, basically they take a loan from Malleolus to pay for the way out, which happens to be a vial of poison, sending them back to Malleolus to pay off their debt by servitude. Is it possible she escaped somehow?
All I know is she loved me.
Yes.
And if she had known a way out, she would have told me.
She would have.
She'd never have taken her own life. And there's no way anybody could have killed her under the Golden Rule. I can't prove it, but I just know she's still alive somehow. Even now, it's as if I can hear her voice in my head, crying out to me. That can only mean one thing. Somebody abducted her. I have no idea how, or who would want to do something like that to such a sweet, lovely girl. But what else could have happened?
Any ideas who might have taken her?
My guess? Malleolus had
thoughts.
something to do with it. He is without doubt the most evil man I have ever known. I have no idea where he'd be keeping her, but there is one room in his villa, upstairs, which is always locked. I've never seen the inside of it, and I haven't been able to steal a key without breaking the Golden Rule. But I have a feeling that if you could get in there somehow, it would shed light on a great many things.
But we've been there. There's no sign of Centilia. It was Claudia, the wife of Malleolus. I've already tried that. There's no sign of Centilia in there.
Oh, I see. That was the only idea I had. I'll give it some more thought. Come and find me a little later. I'll go and take care of things with Malleolus and tell Julia the good news. Thanks again, friend. I'll never forget what you did for us.
Now, why was I thinking of Malleolus as well? Obviously, he might be just the most obvious option, right? They're painting him as like the big bad of this city. But right now, everything points to him because one, he has Domitius under his payroll. Domitius is his strong arm who forces people to vote for Malleolus. So he's strong-arming people for votes. He already has a strong platform because people are getting tired of the Golden Rule. And he has never hesitated to let everyone know that Magistrate Sentius, the father of Centilia, he always lets people know that he can't even get his own daughter in check, that she fled. So that's why I suspect that he has something to do with it. It was used to... They probably took Centilia and created this story about how she ran away from her own father. But the thing is, we saw a note on Centilia's bed which said that she was going to run away. Was this forged? Maybe her stepsister had something to do with it? I don't know. That's another lead. But now we can talk, Octavia.
What you did was extraordinary, and I'll never forget it. I'm thankful that you're here. Can I help you with something?
Christian, huh? Well, what's your story?
Here, in this place, the Magistrate has me earning my keep by cleaning and pruning the gardens. It's not quite how I expected my life to go. I used to live in a lovely villa on the banks of the Tiber. I was even betrothed to a handsome young man from a prominent family. But long hours of menial labor for the good of the community has its own charms too, I suppose.
How did you end up here?
Oh, much the same way as many of the others. When the fires came to Rome 7 months ago, my family and I fled for the Tiber, hoping to escape on a barge. We were among the fortunate ones with enough coins for passage, but unfortunately, There were a lot of desperate people, and they boarded before we could depart. A scuffle broke out, and I was pushed overboard. The last thing I remember was the water, rising up to hit my cheekbone. I woke up by the river, near that shrine, and stumbled across this place.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Oh, that's all right. I'm sure it's all part of God's plan for me.
Ah, you are Christian. So actually, Emperor Nero sent that assassin to hunt down the Christians. Maybe she'll lead us to them. God? Don't you mean the gods?
Oh yes, of course. A slip of the tongue.
Ah, and she's cagey about it. Let's talk about something else.
If you like.
Do you know a way out of here?
I'm afraid not. Although, I did once hear someone gossiping down at Aurelia's tavern about a possible way out. I don't put a lot of stock in such rumours, but if you're desperate and wealthy, you could look into it, I suppose. If that doesn't work, then I suppose we're all stuck here until the gods decide our fate.
Thanks, but it's definitely a scam.
Oh, I see. Well, that doesn't surprise me. I'm sorry I even suggested it. I won't make that mistake again.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one. I think about those words a lot. I'd like to think that if we all love our neighbours as ourselves and do to them as we'd have them do to us, then we'll all be fine. But on the other hand, I was always taught the intent of man's heart is evil from his youth, and that all of us are born with a tendency towards sin. And that's where I get stuck. Is it true? Are we born with a tendency towards sin?
I don't think so. I think people are fundamentally good.
You don't think that's a little naive? I suppose you've never seen what I've seen. Innocent men and women, torn apart in arenas while thousands of Romans look on and cheer.
What do you think, chat? It's definitely, it's not just one thing. There are people predisposed to committing what we would see as sinful or evil. But raised in the right circumstances, given the proper environment, who knows? Well, fair point. We had a bloody history. And for them, that was normal. That was society to them. Perhaps you're right.
If that's true, then sooner or later, things are going to end badly for all of us down here. Unless, of course, there's some kind of divine intervention.
Oh, there's going to be some intervention, alright? Not exactly the divine sort. I don't believe in any gods.
I wish I shared your faith.
So, you're a Christian.
Please keep that to yourself. I know you're not from around here, but things are very difficult for us right now. There was a terrible fire in Rome last year, and our emperor decided to make us his scapegoats. There were executions. It was horrible.
Your secret's safe with me. At the moment, I don't think people are inherently evil. Actually, I feel like, always going back down to it, we are meat bags. We are animals. And we all have this instinct for survival, which basically turned into this whole other thing. Basically, our fight to survive eventually evolved into this need to create laws in society in order to bring about where we are today. It always goes back to those base instincts. To survive, to thrive, to live. Then we ascribe notions of what is evil and what is good, which have changed over time. Those blood sports back then, of course, we can't really say. We don't really have first-hand sources. But did they see that as evil? This very thing now, the Christians in this era believe suicide was a sin to bring the downfall of this community. We've learned that it isn't. So there are very different definitions of it. We are meatbags trying to find meaning in this chaotic universe. You can quote me on that. No, it's not anything like... Look, yeah, I don't think people are inherently good or evil. My train of thought right now is really going back to when and where we were born and how we were raised. Each one of us having a story to tell, and each one of us being able to define what is good and evil. And somehow we've been able to make it. Thousands of years, millions, billions, and we're still here. And in a way, we are still evolving. Your secret's safe with me.
Oh, thank you. You have no idea how much I appreciate that.
I'll be going now.
Ah, that's a shame. Another time then.
So Malleolus is a Christian, but how do I prove that Malleolus... One step at a time. Let's deal with the leads that we have a lot of information on. Yet this is a main goal, to create a time paradox. Let's update Equitia, the Vestal Priestess. We already cleared out the assassin, so I'd like to see what Equitia wanted to show us in the baths.
I hope you're taking care of yourself.
I hope you're coping.
Julia, you're here.
Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. Galerius just saved my life. Was there something you wanted? Lucretia says I'm supposed to rest.
This is how we get people to vote for Galerius. We give him information from the future to get people to love him and trust him. Because he's a good man. We talked to him, we learned about him. He's been through a lot. And yet he was still able to retain himself. And he has the interests of the common folk in mind. So I see it now. Every person we help will give us the information that we need to bring into a future loop to tell Galerius to help all of these people in one go, which will convince them to vote for him instead of Malleolus. Now, the difficult thing there is Galerius does not want to run for office. So that's another thing we have to resolve. Because we don't really want to force someone to run, right? He doesn't want it. He doesn't want to run. But with Malleolus and all the dirt we have on him, that's another angle we can take. Well, I'm sorry to bother you, but I'd like to learn more about what you think about the Golden Rule.
Our priestess, Equitia, once told me it's the god's way of creating a city without sin. But if that's the case, then whichever god is responsible for it didn't think it through. I mean, all it really does is make bad people better at hiding their sins, and good people too frightened to stand up for themselves. I've seen Malleolus, Claudia, and Domitius make grown men cry. Romans. They don't cry easily. They've never physically hurt anyone. But the point is, they don't have to. They've got people running scared because everyone knows Malleolus is the favorite to win today's election.
can I help?
I doubt it. I mean, the election is today, and you've only just arrived. I just don't think there's enough time for you to do anything.
We'll see about that.
I suppose we will.
Well, I'll be going now.
All right. Goodbye.
So we're going to talk to the priestess. Naevia. Livia. Livia is trapped in here. But it seems... I guess you don't have that power yet. Oh, hello. How's your rheumatism?
Name's Ulpius. Better watch your step.
Okay, well, good to see you, Ulpius.
See you around.
There you are, Octavia.
Keep an eye out for Sentius, would you?
Majestic. A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
I've been asking people about how they wound up here, trying to find a pattern.
Interesting. I'm not sure why you're telling me, but you've come to the right person. Did you find a pattern then? What have you noticed?
Some people mentioned an encounter with a stranger on the riverbank. In my case, it was Karen.
Yes, I also had such an encounter. What else?
Some people mentioned a coin.
Yes, I suppose that could be something. But then most of us do tend to carry coins on our person, don't we? What else?
Some people mentioned a river.
Yes, I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. It's as I feared. I think I understand what poor Livia has been going through. Let me ask you this. Did you happen to encounter a stranger in the forest before you arrived here?
So where this is going, chat, we also found a note somewhere in the slums of someone having a dream of Kurti, the Egyptian god. So we have Kurti, starts with a K, and in our case it was Karen. Let me ask you this. Right, I did. A young woman.
And did you happen to catch her name?
Karen.
I see. And was this Karen by any chance wearing a hood?
She was wearing a hoodie. How could you have known that?
Because I've seen her before. There's something I think you should see. I think you'd better follow me to the baths.
Alright, I'll meet you in the baths.
But don't follow too closely. We can't have people thinking we're bathing together.
Okay.
Keeping an eye on things, Horatius?
As always, priestess.
Any news about Sentius, Naevia, or Kabash?
No sign of any of them, I'm afraid. But we do have a newcomer.
Oh, it's this conversation.
Strangely dressed woman. Pretty, though. Funny accent, too.
A traveler from a faraway
I'm right
land,
here.
then.
Seems that way.
Then let's make sure she feels welcome, shall we?
Of course, priestess.
You there?
Oh
I'm
my
sorry to
god.
trouble you, but I couldn't help but notice that fine bow you're carrying. No idea how you managed to get your hands on it, especially in the light of our dear old Magistrate's ban, but I'm impressed. And before you ask, no, I wouldn't dream of trying to buy it from you. I have no use for a wooden bow myself. But I would like to propose a joint business venture of sorts.
What is this time, Desius? This man was the one who withheld life-saving medicine and he set the price at 10,000 denarii, thereby allowing someone to perish from the hemlock. He's an asshole. But he's always wanted a bow. But we have time on our side, and I'm interested. What would you want, Desius? What information will you give me? How can I use you? Go on.
Tell me, do you have any idea how people here end up as golden statues?
The statues come to life and fire golden bows. Fire golden arrows at... Huh? The statues come to life and fire golden bows and arrows at them.
And here I was thinking I was the only one to figure it out. In any case, supposedly 1 or 2 of those arrows is enough to turn a full-grown man into gold. Now, of course, that is a travesty, a terrible, horrible waste of human life, which has to be stopped.
Fortune smile on you, sister.
On the other hand, I can't help but think of a tale told by that Greek fella Aesop, the goose that laid the golden egg. With the ability to transmute organic matter into gold, one could create infinite wealth. Use your imagination. Golden animals, insects, trees and plants. The Midas touch without the drawbacks. We are talking riches beyond imagining. And even if we were to split all those riches between the 2 of us, half of infinite wealth is still infinite. Interested?
Desius, I think the golden goose is meant to be a cautionary tale. Of course, you're Desius though, but look, this is good, not for the wealth, because what's the purpose of wealth here in the afterlife? Now I see how we can turn those bridges into gold so we can walk on them, which will allow us access into other zones. So, Desius, I am interested.
Excellent. So the first question is, how do we get our hands on one of those golden bows? Now, I have a plan, but first, tell me, are you familiar with the story of the goddess Diana?
Remind me?
No problem. Allow me to explain. Diana is our goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld, depending on who you ask. The one thing priests and poets agree on is that she carried with her a golden bow and a quiver of golden arrows. And it just so happens that there is a shrine of Diana in this very forum, with a prominent statue of the goddess herself. And would you like to guess what she's holding in her hand?
A golden bow.
Precisely. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent in that temple staring at it, trying to figure out how to retrieve it without breaking you know what.
But you want me to steal it?
Oh, gods no! If you tried that, we'd all be dead within moments, I'm sure. No, here's what I propose. You give your bow to me, I cover it in a thin layer of gold leaf, and we create a replica of a golden bow. Then you enter the shrine, extinguish the braziers, and under cover of darkness, swap out the fake for the original. It's not theft exactly, it's more of a trade. But make no mistake, this is a dangerous path, and there's no way of knowing where it will lead. But in my experience, all the best adventures begin with a risky first step. Now, you must have questions. Ask away.
I've seen this in a movie, Desius. Well, why can't you do it yourself, Desius?
I'm more of an ideas man, whereas you're obviously the more resourceful and heroic type.
I'm an archaeologist.
I have complete confidence in you.
Why can't I just take it?
Because the gods would see you, of course. Hence my proposal.
That's one thing we haven't found out. So far, we've done sin in sight of golden statues. What if they can't see us? We haven't been able to test that, but someone theorized about the same thing. Will we be able to avoid breaking the golden rule if no one sees us committing the sin? Well, I'm just gonna ask it anyway. Isn't that extremely dangerous?
When Prometheus stole fire from the gods and became a hero to all mankind, do you think he was worried about the danger?
Desius. Prometheus was also punished for eternity, if I recall correctly.
Only because he was silly enough to get caught.
Well, that's all the questions I had. This surprisingly may work, Desius.
So, are you in, partner?
If you don't like action or horror elements, feel free to decline. Oh, that's a good tip. I get scared easily. I can't play horror games. But I'm gonna do it. I'll do it, but don't ever call me partner.
Wonderful. Now, if you'll hand over your bow, I can get started applying a layer of gold leaf. This is a quality weapon. Now, bear with me for a moment. And here we are, a gold leaf bow.
Fake golden bow. A composite bow covered in gold leaf. Thank you.
Now, I've gone and unlocked the Shrine of Diana for you, so as quick as you can, head on inside. It's just at the end of the street on the left. May the gods not watch over you.
Lucky for me, if the golden statues end up shooting me in the face, I'll be able to run for the portal and take the golden bow with me. But I was supposed to meet someone at the baths. Let's not keep the priestess waiting. Octavia, are you here? Oh, what? Oh. Octavia. This looks strangely familiar. Oh, we came in from the baths. Right, we came in from up there. Ah, okay, we did fall into the baths then.
All right, you're here. You were asking how I knew the young woman you met by the river was wearing a hood. Here, look down at the bottom of the baths. It's a little hard to make out in this light. If only we could see. Oh, what a marvelous lamp. But do you see it? Somebody waking up by a river in a forest to find a hooded figure with a coin. It's just as you described it, only your pronunciation is a little off. The name you heard wasn't Karen. It was C-H-A-R-O-N, as in Charon, the ferryman of the dead. Charon, who in exchange for the right coin, helps the souls of the newly deceased cross the Styx, the river that separates the land of the living from the land of the dead.
When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, but all I found was some loose change. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute.
It's Charon!
Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
Karen?
I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm so sorry. I take it you know what this means.
Karen! Oh, that is good. That was good. Noting it down here. This place is the underworld, and we're dead.
I'm afraid so. It's all starting to make sense. All these people whose last memory was running from the fires toward the river. It seems none of them escaped with their lives after all. Perhaps we should be grateful they don't remember their final moments. It also tells us that the Golden Rule is the work of Pluto, the god of the underworld, and why his epithet has always been Father of Riches. I know it's a lot to take in, and you look as if you have questions, so I'll try to answer them if I can.
This is good. One major revelation. So, we're dead.
That was my first thought too. In the old stories, the underworld was where the souls of the deceased were taken. But it was also possible for the living to reach it without dying, if they were particularly fearless. So I'm afraid I don't know.
That's why the assassin was able to make it in. What can you tell me about Charon?
Oh, I'm sorry. I keep forgetting you're not from here. If you were Roman, or even Greek, you would know these stories. Each of them is slightly different, whether the storyteller was Plato, Homer, Virgil, or Ovid. But they always involved the souls of the dead meeting a grim ferryman named Charon on the bank of a river. It was said that he'd help the new arrival cross, only if they could pay him with a coin, an obol. That's why it was once our custom to bury our loved ones with a coin in their mouths. Charon's obol, we called it. Of course, an obol was a kind of Greek coin, because we inherited this knowledge from the Greeks.
Why didn't you all recognize Charon immediately?
To be fair, the ferryman isn't exactly as the poets described, and he, she, they seem to appear to different people in different guises. You say you saw a young woman named Karen with a hood, and I once heard Kabash mention a stranger in a ram headdress named Kerti, and Rufius described meeting a stranger named Kumut Tabal wearing an eagle headdress. But whatever form this stranger took, they were always wearing a hood of some sort, and their name always began with a K sound. I suspect the only way you'll solve this riddle is if your paths cross again.
If we meet Charon again. But why are there so few people in the underworld?
Good question. Let's see. In the stories, Charon would always require a coin as payment for passage across the river. But that never made any sense to me. What does an ancient immortal being need with coins? In our case, it seems Charon didn't take the coins we had. He or she merely checked we had one in our possession. So, maybe there's something special about the coins each of us had on us. That might explain why we wound up here, but so many others did not.
Well, why were you trying to keep this from me?
No. I mean, I had my suspicions, especially after Livia's ramblings, but I would never have figured it out without your help, I promise you.
That's all the questions I had. This is a lot to take in.
Now that we know where we are, we have to figure out what to do about it, if we don't want to be cast into gold for eternity. We don't have much to go on, except the old stories. I remember 4 in particular about heroes in the underworld. Hercules, the demigod and son of Jupiter, Orpheus, a Thracian poet, Sisyphus, a king of Ephyra, and Aeneas, a Trojan hero. Hercules was able to leave the underworld because he cowed its god with his strength. Sisyphus and Orpheus both relied on their wits instead. They persuaded the goddess of the underworld, Proserpina, to help them escape. And finally, Aeneas was able to escape with the help of a spirit guide, who led him through a secret gate. So it seems you have 2 options: to confront the god of the underworld head-on, or find a way to escape with the help of Proserpina or some other guide.
Yes, these are multiple endings. Can't we just escape the way we came in?
It's a reasonable question, but the problem is, this place is fairly well designed to keep us here. There's no way to climb up the shaft. And even if you could build a ladder big enough, just trying it would break the golden rule. We know that, thanks to the writings left behind by those who've tried.
Alright, escape is a sin. I've noticed you seem uncomfortable calling the god of the underworld by his name. Why is that?
All Romans try to avoid saying it, and the reason is quite simple. He might hear us. You may refer to him as Pluto, if you wish, but you'll only be calling attention to yourself. Do so at your own peril.
Tell me more about escaping with the help of Proserpina, our guide.
As I mentioned, both Orpheus and Sisyphus were said to have persuaded Proserpina to help them escape, and Aeneas was guided to the exit. The problem is, those are the stories of a poet, a self-aggrandizing king, and a brawler about their own heroic deeds, so they should be taken with a grain of salt. First, Proserpina. What we do know about her is, well, it's a grim tale. It's said the god of the underworld abducted and dragged her here against her will, forcing her into marriage.
So she might be willing to work against him to help us.
If the stories are true, then I suppose so. The problem is, how do we communicate with her without being noticed by her captor? Leaving that aside for a moment, there is also the possibility of a spirit guide. I don't suppose you've come across one of those in your travels?
I hear the female statues whispering to me every now and then.
Truly? And you're only bringing this up now? Then again, I suppose you were worried I'd think you were as mad as Naevia. Can you tell me more? Is it the same voice? What kinds of thing does it say?
It's always the same voice, and she's helpful, if a little cryptic.
Fascinating. Perhaps she's a benevolent spirit, or perhaps... Perhaps you're hearing the voice of Proserpina herself. If she has indeed been abducted, it would make sense for her to speak in cryptic whispers to avoid detection. Tell me, has she told you anything that might lead you to the way out?
It's just hard for me right now, chat, to divorce the underworld story that I have right now. Having just played Hades. Love that game. Freaking amazing game, by the way. Hades. From Supergiant Games. And I'm not even a fan of roguelikes. But I think Hades was where all this looping began for me. Hades and PS4, my god. Hamsterfoy, it's so smooth. Such a sleek. It feels good, sounds good, looks good. It hits all the marks for me. So just like, oh, Persephone's talking to us, but Persephone has family problems with Hades, but Hades is in a... I just love it. I just love the cast of Hades. Hades, Supergiant Games, highly recommended. But this is a different underworld that we're in right now, so... Proserpina was abducted. I guess we're going with that story here. She was abducted against her will by Hades. So Proserpina right now is probably the one trying to speak with us. Perhaps. She said, "Wade against the current," and her tears run through the city, and she weeps where the water flows. Wasn't there something about Persephone's tears as well? I guess in this case, Proserpina's tears.
That is strange. There are no rivers here. Let me think on that.
I was really hoping you could tell me what it meant.
Well, as far as I can tell, water flows into the city from an aqueduct into one of two cisterns, the upper cistern. If that's the current she's talking about, then perhaps you need to get into the upper cistern somehow. I vaguely recall wondering what was in there, but the door at the back of the great temple is locked up tight. You might be able to get a key from the Magistrate, but if that doesn't work, perhaps you can find another way in. Let me know if you find anything in there.
Tell me more about confronting Pluto head-on, just in case.
Shh! Is everyone so blunt where you're from? Oh. That option would be the boldest, but also the only way to learn the truth about the Golden Rule, and maybe even put an end to it. As I said, Hercules managed to overpower the god of the underworld, but he was a demigod. Forgive my candor, but you are no Hercules.
Well, Hercules couldn't manipulate time.
Are you telling me that you can? I won't pretend to understand exactly what that means, but if that's true, then perhaps you stand a chance. So, if you want to confront him, I'll help you as much as I can. Who knows? Perhaps your name will be uttered in the same sentence as Hercules one day. But first, you'd need an audience with you-know-who, and for that, you'll need to enter the great temple overlooking the city. The problem is, the door has been sealed shut for as long as I've lived here, and there doesn't even seem to be a keyhole. I suspect the answer lies in the desecrated obelisk in front of it.
Right.
I'm not sure if you noticed, but there are 4 plaques missing from its base. It looks as though somebody, or a series of somebodies, forcibly removed them, and in doing so, dishonored and angered our divine keeper. If you could recover and replace all 4 of those missing plaques, I imagine he might be willing to receive an audience again.
Well, to be honest, Equitia, I just need your thoughts. I'm not a warrior. I'm no Hercules. But what can you tell me about the obelisk?
It's the towering stone monument with 4 sides and a pyramid-shaped head that stands before the great temple, a dedication to the god of this place. You'll find them all over Rome, but of course they were looted from Egypt many years ago. It seems one of them made its way here too, although how is a mystery. However, this one is unusual in that each of the 4 sides is decorated in a different style: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and another I don't recognize.
From my time?
That means you'll need to recover 4 different plaques: Roman, Greek, Egyptian, and a 4th, a mystery plaque.
Well, I really appreciate how this game is giving me all these options to resolve the mystery. Hamsterfwen, does Hades have cross-save with PC? I do know that the Switch has cross-save with PC, but let me Google that for you. The cross-save feature found in the Nintendo Switch version will not be in the PlayStation or Xbox version of Hades. So there's no word at this point. You'll have to double check, but I do know that the Switch has cross-save with PC. But either way, Hades, go ahead and get that. Where would I find the Roman plaque?
Good question. To answer that, we first need to ask who would have defaced the obelisk in the first place. It would have had the god's name engraved into it, so it may be that whoever desecrated it wanted that name to be forgotten. And there's only one group of people I know of who might want to do that.
Christians.
There's a cult in Rome that often argued there is only one true god. Theirs, of course. They've been known to start fires, as well as deface religious monuments whose existence challenged their beliefs. If I were you, I'd go looking for them. Of course, they've all been in hiding since the fire last year, so finding them won't be easy. But I did hear a rumor they have a secret shrine somewhere in the city. Perhaps, if you could find that, you might be able to recover the Roman plaque.
Alright, Roman plaque is with the Christians. Where would I find the Greek plaque?
I don't know. But perhaps you should begin your search with the
Georgius.
local Greek fellow, Georgius. His store is in the forum.
Where would I find the Egyptian plaque?
Perhaps Kabash, our Egyptian resident, will be able to tell us. Unfortunately, he disappeared weeks ago. But I did hear Aurelia is peddling rumors about him at the tavern, so perhaps you could talk to her, or just take a look in his room.
I could butter up Aurelia, but I know she's just a swindler. And where might I find the mystery plaque? Wasn't the mystery plaque with Al in 2,000 years in the future? I do believe he had a plaque.
I'm afraid you're on your own with that one, but perhaps the goddess will help guide you to it when the time is right.
Let's talk about something else. This is indeed a Herculean task. But I'm ready to get started, priestess.
All right. I would suggest not discussing this with anyone. The best we can do for them is to let them remain oblivious for as long as possible. As for Livia, it seems she's been shouldering the weight of this terrible secret all this time. Perhaps it would comfort her to know she's not alone.
So we have the option to go to the upper cistern. But let's try to help Livia out. I'll have a chat with Livia first.
In any case, time is of the essence, so you'd best begin. May Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
That is a huge breakthrough in our case. This is where it all began. And this is where it shall end. Very tricky. It was right there. We literally landed right into it. Karen. Or should I say, Charon. Did you get far in your save, Hamster, on PC? It sucks starting from the start again, though. An ancient Roman mosaic depicting a godlike figure turning a man into gold. It is all here. The many shall suffer with the sins of the one. Got a plat on Steam. Nice. I believe I only have one dialogue left to get through. Because the RNG was pretty bad on that. To get... Oh my god, what's his name? The one who greets you every time at the start of each death. Sorry, at the start of each life. Oh. Hypnos, yes.
Hello. Have we met before?
I believe Hypnos is the only one I have left to max out in terms of the relationship. Keep putting it off, but Hades is still installed. Let's talk about your treasure, Dooley.
My friend Hannibal used to look after me. He said he always would. But then, he died. It was very sad. He said, if anything ever happened to him, I had to find something very precious hidden away. He gave me this key and made me promise to keep it safe until I found the treasure. But I couldn't find it. All I remember is he said something about the cisterns. But when I went up to the high one, they put me in here. Now nobody looks after me. Except my friend Galerius. And Ek, the priestess lady. She's a nice lady.
Fair enough. Okay, Dooley, I'll be going now. It's good that these two look after you. But for now, let's talk to Livia. There's so many things to do now. This is just reminding me... this is just reminding me now of like Deathloop. We just played it yesterday. Sorry, the day before yesterday. And... oh my god. I had to do everything in one loop. So, we focus on finding more information. And eventually, we'll get it done. Is this going to hurt me? Oh! Ow. Livia.
You, Sisyphus, attack or pursue the stone that always returns. Just as the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls. But it does not notice the crowds that come.
Livia, I figured it out. I know where we are.
Say it. Speak its name.
The underworld.
Then it is true. I was right.
You were.
I thought I saw it, but when the rest of them could not, I kept thinking I must have gone insane. I had to tell myself it was true over and over again, until I wasn't sure if I was deceiving myself. I must apologize if my words seemed cryptic. I'd found comfort in reciting the Metamorphoses by our great poet Ovid. He gives such an uncanny description of this place. I cannot help but wonder if he himself came here. Would you like to hear it?
Sure.
I will do my best to remember the relevant verse. There is a downward path, gloomy with fatal yew trees. It leads through dumb silence to the infernal regions. The sluggish Styx exhales vapor, and by that way, the shadows of the newly dead descend, entombed with full rites, and the ghosts of those, at last, given proper burial. The wide, thorny waste is cold and pallid, and the newly arrived shades are ignorant of the road that leads to the Stygian city, where Black Dis has his cruel palace. As the ocean accepts the rivers of all the world, so this place accepts all the souls, and is never too small for any populace, nor notices the crowds that come. There the bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone. Some crowd the forum, some the house of the ruler of the depths. Others follow their trades, imitating their previous lives. And still others incur punishment. I hope I have done it justice, and now we share a secret. It's as if you've lifted a great burden from my shoulders. Thank you, friend. I think I should rest.
Rest well, Livia. I'm loving this shit, Chad. We're solved another lead. So we have the plaques we could find if we decide to confront Pluto. But we're gonna go the route of Sisyphus and Ulpius and not look back. Yeah, how to make Malleolus drop out. Enter the Shrine of Diana. Alright, for now, let's see if old Desius' stupid scheme works. Before that, let's stop by the Magistrate. There, the voice again. Persephone? First, let's ask the Magistrate for the key to the upper cistern.
Citizen.
Magistrate.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
I'm Daisy Barnes, and we've had this conversation before.
We have? Wait, if I understand correctly, someone is about to break the Golden Rule, forcing me to create a portal in time to bring you here? I must have entrusted you with figuring out who the culprit is. Only, I assume we failed, and you had to start over. Is that about right? If so, what happened?
We've had this conversation too, and I'm in a hurry.
Seems rather brash, but alright. Why have you sought me out?
May I have the key to the upper cistern?
I think it's best if I hang on to it.
Why? You asked me to come here to help you.
You mean to ask, why am I unwilling to trust a newly arrived non-citizen with access to our water supply, the lifeblood of this city? I'm sorry, but that is simply out of the question.
Hello, Candy M. Huang. Welcome, you have your founder badge. Welcome to the stream, you made it. We've just made a breakthrough in our investigation, and we found out that we are in the underworld, truly. We have two options, and we can either confront Pluto himself, or we can be witty and outsmart him by perhaps enlisting the aid of Proserpina, also known as Persephone, goddess of the underworld. I guess I'll have to find another way in. Right, he doesn't understand us in this current time loop. We probably should have earned his trust beforehand. We don't have the time to do so, Magistrate. I guess I'll have to find another way in.
And I'm beginning to wonder if the culprit we're looking for might, after all this, be you. Perhaps it was a mistake on my part to place so much trust in you.
You can trust me, I promise. I'll stay away from the Cistern.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, was there something else?
Alright, I'd like you to release Dooley.
You mean Duilius? Releasing him is out of the question, I'm afraid. That man is a liability we simply cannot afford. Perhaps you're not aware he was caught multiple times, sneaking around in places he should not have been.
What exactly did he do?
Look, I can see where you're going with this. You think me cruel. I assure you that is not the case. You may not be aware of this, but it was not so long ago, during the Republic, the law of the 12 Tables would have required that he be killed as soon as he was born, owing to his deformity.
Law of the 12 Tables.
Here we see to it that he has food, water, and shelter, and most importantly, he is able to continue living. A privilege that would be taken away from all of us were he to be released and commit the crime of trespass. The man has no self-discipline, poor comprehension of what is going on around him, and is an incorrigible rule-breaker. I will not jeopardize the lives of my people so that one man can go free. Now, was there something else?
You're a smooth talker. I'll give you that. I'm gonna release Dooley in a future loop. Mark my words. But I guess we never asked you. What's your story?
Sextus Sentius Imperiosus is my name, though Magistrate is the proper way to address me. Before I wound up here, I was a decurion in the cavalry of Imperial Rome, helping protect civilization from the barbarians.
What's a decurion?
It's a cavalry officer. I had 30 men under my command. This was my uniform.
Why are you still wearing it?
As Magistrate, I usually wear a toga, but today I may need to survive long enough to create the portal for you, so it seemed prudent.
How did you end up here?
My men and I were at the Emporium in Rome as honor guard for a visiting dignitary arriving upriver by barge. Now the port is usually bustling, but just as our guests arrived, waves of people began running toward the river from streets and alleyways in every direction. They were trying to escape a terrible fire. Unfortunately, the crowd sent my horse into a panic, and I remember it losing its footing by the water's edge. The next thing I knew, I was waking up on a riverbank not far from here in the company of some stranger. I went looking for my horse and discovered that lonely temple. You can probably figure out the rest.
How did you come to be Magistrate?
I was elected 7 months ago, uncontested because of my command experience. Since then, there's been growing agitation for another election. They're supposed to be annual, but I agreed to hold it sooner, hoping it would placate my constituents. Unfortunately, it just seems to have emboldened certain elements instead.
We'll get Malleolus in the future. Let's talk about something else.
Very well.
Or should I say we'll get Malleolus in the future past? In the past future. Never mind. Do you know a way out of here?
If I did, I'd have led these people out of here already.
What do you think about the Golden Rule as Magistrate?
I've had plenty of time to think about it. Let me see if I can sum up my thoughts. I've always considered my guiding star to be the well-being of the Roman people. Our survival and prosperity have always hinged upon honoring the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. Give the gods what they want and we all prosper. Dishonor them and we all die. It's as simple as that. The real enemy in this place is not the golden rule, but human failings. The temptation to slide into degeneracy, greed, and hubris. I trust that answers your question.
But it's not... Does the peace of the gods not also perpetuate some of that? I better get back to it, Magistrate.
Thank you. I'll be waiting here for news.
There's a lot to take in. But, for this time loop, let's see if we can't get ourselves a golden bow, which will allow us to traverse those bridges.
Isn't the great temple majestic?
Right, this is the temple to Diana. Shrine of Diana. What is that buzzing? I see. A Roman man on his knees as if uttering a desperate prayer. Clearly, it fell on deaf ears. Diana, goddess of the hunt. A large stone statue of Diana, the ancient Roman goddess of the hunt, the moon, and the underworld. And that is the golden bow. How am I supposed to reach it? So for those just catching up to us now, this scheme right now is an idea of Desius. And we're gonna pull off an Indiana Jones here and swap Diana's golden bow with a fake one. And also put the theory to the test. The theory that if the golden statues do not see us committing sin, will it still break the golden rule? I'm just kind of wary about that hornet's nest. Alright, Desius, you better hold up your end of the bargain. Alright. Let's channel our Indiana Jones here. Replace! Ah! It worked! I can't believe that bloody worked! You didn't see that! You didn't see that! Apologies, Diana, goddess of the hunt, but we will need this bow in order to free these people. Persephone was kidnapped against her will, brought here.
Is that you, partner? Do you have the bow?
Oh, you bastard, don't tell me. Desius, did you lock the door? Yes, I have it, Desius.
Wonderful. Just go ahead and slide it under the door for me and I'll unlock it for you.
I knew I shouldn't have trusted you.
And yet you did. And now, here we are. With me out here, and you in there. Until you give me my bow.
How is this not against the golden rule? You said you'd split the riches between the two of us.
No, technically, I never said that. I said, if we were to split all those riches between the two of us, infinite wealth is still infinite. It's hardly my fault if you can't tell the difference between a hypothetical and a promise, now is it? Oh, I do love a good loophole.
How can I trust you after you've double-crossed me like this?
You're just gonna have to take your chances, I'm afraid. The bow, now. And don't even think about giving me the fake one. I'll recognize my own handiwork.
There's no way I'm giving you this bow. I'll find another way out.
I would reconsider my position quickly if I were you. I'm not sure if you noticed, but you're stuck in there with a hornet's nest, and they can be rather aggressive toward intruders. You know, some say it takes 27 hornet stings to kill a man. But I always wondered how anyone could have known that. Let's find out how many it takes to kill a woman, shall we?
Desius. Has to be a way out. A hidden something. Can hornets see in the dark? I don't know. The nest? What about the nest? Am I supposed to just shoot it? Proserpina's telling... If Proserpina is speaking to us, I trust her. Right! I could turn things into gold! You bastard, Desius. Oh. Right. I can turn things into gold. Very nice. A sponge stick? A small stick with a sponge attached. This must be what the Romans used instead of toilet paper. It appears to be for communal use. Best to put this back immediately. That just means we're under the toilets right now. It seems some people have been here though. Is that you, Proserpina? The algae. So we can solidify the algae. I see. I can see it now. I'm gonna get back at you, Desius. Wait till you see this. And how appropriate that it was Diana that gave this up for us. Oh, I mean, we just borrowed it from Diana. Naevia. So this is where Naevia's been.
My beloved Galatea, I write this so that one day, when we're finally together, you will understand what I've done and why I had to do it. The others will call me mad or a monster, but I don't care what they think. Everything I'm doing here, I'm doing for you. I'll start at the beginning. Soon after my arrival here, as I walked down a corridor lined with golden statues, I thought I heard a whisper behind me. A rasp of air, as if vocal cords of metal strained to say a word or two. I tried to dismiss the idea, tried to concentrate on my work as the city's medic, but that tortured whisper haunted me. Weeks later, in the hallway to the bathhouse, I heard it again and found myself drawn to the statue of a Roman woman wearing a stola. Her face was contorted with anguish and fear, and disturbingly, it was as if she was looking right at me. As I walked past her, I heard that strained whisper again, and turning back, I discovered that even though I had moved, she was still looking right into my soul. That was when it dawned on me. This was no statue. This was a woman trapped within that golden prison. Naturally, I told the others, but when I could not reproduce the results of my experiment, they would not believe me. But from that moment on, I knew the full horror of this place. Immobilized within these statues are living human beings. It was that day, my love, that my heart broke.
Naevia. Hey, welcome back, Korgol. I'm not sure what you caught, but we got away from that Desius. Traitoro! You're right. They named these people for Did I miss that? What did we have in that session? We had Traitoro the Traitor. And now we have Desius. Tip. Hold space plus W to pull yourself up on ledges. What? I was only learning that now. Hup. Hup. Oh, we did it. That's awkward, but... Right, we just got a golden bow, which turns things into gold. And we're making great progress right now. So that's a scraping I've heard. The movement of the heads of the statues. And we can solidify those things. Amphora of arrows. Perfect. This will allow us to access the temple. So long as we have arrows to spare. Here we are. Where was this? Right, loading. We're in the palace. Naevia, you locked yourself in the palace. Are you still here? That's a way out. We have to tell Naevia that she's not insane. Like she's not alone. What the? What is that? Whoa, what is this? Was that a Naevia? It was alive. She was alive. What's going on? Any notes I'm missing? Oh. What is going on? Right. I'm an archaeologist, not an archer. That was a good shot, though. Whew, learning quickly. Let's make sure we're not forgetting anything. I need to find Naevia. If Naevia is still alive. Why, Persephone? I see why. Good tip. Thanks, Persephone. I see Naevia is ruling over her subjects. But this... Archaeologist, that's what I am now. Do you be this way? Down here? I'm just have a look around first. Can't get through there. Very well. You haven't failed me this far, Persephone. I guess I am putting these people to rest. When my professors told me that my thesis was absolute bullshit, they didn't expect this to happen, did they? Now I'm firing arrows at these people, turning people into gold. In an ancient city. Oh, you're crazy, Daisy Bonds. That's what they were saying. But no, it's all true. Am I dead? Or am I like Orpheus or Hercules? Am I still alive? There's a chest over there. I need to see what's in that chest. I feel like I'm in Skyrim. Oh, that takes a lot. Archer OP. Fletched arrow and 50 denarius. That's it. I need answers, Naevia. Sorry. I could use a gun right about now. But no, this is actually more powerful. Turn anything into gold. Protection. I guess this Lararium wasn't honored. What vase? Oh, I see. So I was supposed to distract them into the water. Naevia, I just want to talk. Palace doors.
My beloved Galatea, after I learned the terrible truth about the golden statues, I wandered the city as if in a nightmare. What must life be like for these poor souls, entombed in gold, but kept alive somehow? Trapped in their own personal Tartarus, consigned to eternal torment, too horrific for any sane mind to comprehend. I tried to offer them what small mercies I could. I began to talk to them, to keep them company. I'd imagine backstories for them, give them names, and tell them of the world, of the histories and stories I'd learned as a child. As the others became more concerned by my charity, I sought solitude from them, preferring the company of my tormented charges. Discovering a way into the abandoned palace, I began to spend my days walking its halls and sharing with its occupants ancient tales, my mind turning to those of Apollo and Daphne, Perseus and Medusa, and Pygmalion and Galatea. Pygmalion, the sculptor who fell in love with a beautiful statue, and who, praying to Aphrodite for aid, discovered that his beloved Galatea had come to life. It was then that I heard you whisper to me, Galatea. Forgive me. I know that is not your real name, just one I have borrowed from a story. But when I turned to look at you, I saw the most exquisitely beautiful woman I have ever known. Your face, forever frozen in a look of haunting sadness. Our meeting gave me new purpose, to free you from your golden prison, so that I might one day hear you speak, not just whisper your true name to me. So I gathered tools for the long and difficult task ahead, barred the doors to this place, and set to work.
Well, I'm not sure what you hope to accomplish, Naevia. How would you free these people? I see there's a way up there. Silk into gold. See, that works. The voice. Ulpius Serpena. Ah. I never thought I'd be doing the things I saw in the movies. Alright, don't look down. Oh, this takes a lot of upper body strength. Am I truly granting you rest? These people are just trapped here forever. Is this you're doing, Naevia? Did you find a way to bring these statues to life? I will grant you this mercy. Ow! Frack! Ow! I should be paying more attention. Anyone in there? Gotcha. Guess he missed one. There's a lot of Garum around here. Naevia's channel.
My beloved Galatea, my attempts at freeing these souls from their golden prisons have not been going to plan. My first charge was a Greek woman who I called Iodame after the Athenian turned to stone by Medusa. Drilling through the gold that encased her, I was vindicated by the discovery that beneath half an inch of gold, which is so rigid it must be some kind of alloy, was living flesh. Unfortunately, this golden alloy seems to have fused with her skin, so removing it exposed the sinew and muscle beneath and appeared to cause her great pain. At first, I braced myself, expecting that inflicting such pain would break the golden rule, and yet, somehow, it did not.
Didn't?
It seems whichever god is responsible for imprisoning these poor souls does not care about their suffering at all. They are forsaken. Undeterred, I pressed on, working late into the night, attempting to remove the golden layer that encased her as delicately as I could. Eventually, I was able to free most of her body, but when I released her from her restraints, her first act was to lunge for my throat, clawing at me with all her strength and those sharp metal talons. This was my thanks for trying to save her. Whatever possessed Iodame to attack, she was clearly not a suitable subject for my experiment, and I was forced to lock her inside an isolated wing of the palace and bar the door. As I continued working on others, I could hear her flailing and launching herself at the other side endlessly. Regrettably, my other experiments bore similar results, and after relocating a few times, most of the palace is now too dangerous to work in. Still, as much as my heart aches to know that you're suffering, I cannot risk attempting to ungild you yet. Not until I have perfected a method that will bring you back to me, whole in both mind and body, and ensuring your humanity is preserved. I promise you this. One day we will be together, even if I have to free every last statue in this god's forsaken place.
It's not going to end well. I don't even know if that's possible. Naevia, all these people are suffering. Ah! Ah, I solidified the puddle. So that's why it's like they're partially flesh and gold. Alright. Ah, that's the jar. I think Naevia is injured. Oh. This is her workshop. She's been trying to free these people. It appears to be dead. Evidently, its death didn't break the golden rule. Naevia. This apple looks fresh. Someone has been through here recently. Naevia was the Carusian of this place. Look at this place. Is that Galatea? You've been the one speaking. Are you whispering to me through the statue somehow? I don't understand. Is that you, Proserpina? Oh. Naevia? You must be Naevia.
And you must be the wretched snake who broke into my palace and disturbed my experiments. And worst of all, look at what you made me do to her. This never would have happened if you just stayed away. You're going to pay for
Naevia?
that.
If you attack me, Naevia, we'll both end up encased in gold.
And you think I care about that? I don't care what happens to me, as long as you get what you deserve.
This all has nothing to do with me.
Liar. I locked and barred the gate. I left a message warning you all to leave me alone. I just wanted to do my experiments in peace. For her. And now look at her. You made me turn the most beautiful woman I've ever seen into this. Look at her. She's in agony. All I wanted was to spend my last moments with her. To see her beautiful face. To hear her speak freely. Instead of in those cryptic whispers. But as soon as I began my work, she stopped whispering to me. And now I discover she started whispering to you instead. What's so special about you?
It's not just a statue whispering to me. A lot of them do it. But it's always the same voice.
What do you mean, the same voice?
It's like someone else is whispering to me through the statues.
Yes. I remember when they used to whisper to me. They did sound similar. I just thought it was because all voices sound the same when they whisper. But now that I think about it, They were all benevolent and seemed to share a common knowledge. But if these bodies are mere conduits for that one voice, then this body is nobody. And everything I've done here was... Wait, I see what you're doing. You're trying to steal her away from me. Were you planning to wait until I'd done all the hard work, then swoop in? Is that it?
No. No, I swear.
Liar. You tried to steal her away from me, and now look what you made me do. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't peel you too.
I ended up here by accident. Desius trapped me in there. I found my way up the temple. All I want to do is leave, Naevia.
What? What are you talking about?
I got trapped in tunnels under the city and came up inside the palace.
Wait. So you're saying you weren't coming for us?
I never had any intention of hurting you, Naevia.
So I did all this. I ruined her. For nothing. What have I done? Oh God, I feel sick. I can't bear the thought of her being like this. And in so much pain. It's the air coming into contact with her flesh. It's agonizing for them. But the only way to fix it will be to break the golden rule and let it run its course. At least that way she'd be golden again, and we'd be together. All it would take is one little cut.
I cannot do this. The bow, it turns the back into gold.
It's too late. There's nothing you can do. I have to do this. I'm sorry.
I can cover her in gold again.
What? How?
This golden bow is the weapon that encases people in gold.
Really? I'm not sure I believe you. But if you can undo this mess, I'll give you the key to my old medical chest in the Shrine of Apollo. I imagine it would help Lucretia ease the suffering of those still in the city. But if you're lying to me, I'll break the golden rule and kill you and everyone else in this city. Understood?
Alright. Stand back. I don't know what she's been doing. I don't know. I could turn her into gold right now. She hasn't harmed anyone in the city, but these people in the statues, I can't claim to understand what's going on. In these experiments, it sounded like they were suffering. First, I will put you at rest.
You did it. You took away her pain. I don't know what to say. Thank you. Thank you. I swear I will never harm her again. I swear it. I'll stay here to keep her company. But these poor souls, what can be done for them? I've tried everything I can. I fear the only one capable of releasing them properly is whichever god doomed them in the first place. In any case, I must honor our bargain. Here's the key I promised you. It opens a chest in the Shrine of Apollo. I believe there are a few things in there which may be useful to Lucretia. Now, please leave. The door here leads out onto the palace balcony. You should be able to make your way down from there.
You tried to help these people. Goodbye, Naevia. I'll see you in another future loop.
Go, and never return.
Well, we got the key. We resolved what is happening in the statue.
What? Are you still here?
Wow, that is a ride. What do you do what would you do, Chad? I could turn her into gold right now. But all this madness born from trying to free these people from their golden prisons. She had no idea what would happen. We have to break this time loop. We have to stop all this. Well, fancied myself as a little Lara Croft in there. And we made it. Just barely. Now let's see what we have to do next. What other leads can we do? So this is one thing. We can continue on our path to linking Malleolus to the name Quintius. We could also find a way up into the upper cistern. But to get the key to the upper cistern, I'd have to have him released from prison. Right, Ulpius said he had an idea about where Sentilia might be. We should go to him.
That's quite an impressive bow you have there. Just like Diana's. Ave again. Did you find what you need?
Can I ask you some questions about escaping the underworld?
Certainly.
Actually, you know, I know. Alright, I'll get back to
May
it.
Fortuna guide you. Although you may not need her with Proserpina on your side.
Let's leave Desius to stew in what he's done. He's no idea we made it out of there. You direct me to the priestess, Proserpina. I need to talk to Ulpius. I also know that there was a path up there with vines. Ah, something back there. But the statue's in the way.
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Scintilla. And I haven't slept right in 3 weeks.
Don't be too hard on yourself. From what I hear, nobody saw it coming. Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry about things you can't control.
Yeah, but I keep thinking, what if there is something I can do? What if she's out there somewhere suffering, waiting to be found?
Sounds like you're torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods. Try to relax, get some rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
I suppose you're right.
Oh.
Salve again, friend. I went and did as you asked, and it worked. How is it possible that you've just arrived here and you already know everyone and exactly what's about to happen to them?
I am reliving the same day over and over again.
You're toying with me, right? Wait, you're not kidding, are you? That's the only way you could have known. You're a bit like... Oh, what was his name? Sisyphus. Yeah, that's the one. Old King Sisyphus.
Like Sisyphus? How so?
Sisyphus was a Greek king a long time ago. For daring to think he could outsmart the gods, he was given a terrible punishment. He was forced to push a great boulder up to the top of a hill. Only, just as it reached the top, it would roll all the way back down to the bottom, forcing him to start over and over and over again, for all eternity. Just like you. Actually, now that I think about it, there are a bunch of old stories about the gods punishing people by making them do the same futile task over and over. Tantalus was made to grasp at fruit on a tree he could never quite reach. The Pleiades had to keep fetching water in a sieve. Oh, and Ixion was strapped to a wheel going round and round forever. But on the bright side, at least you're not stuck in the underworld like they all were.
Yeah, at least there's that, Galerius. At least we're not in the underworld.
Anyway, I don't know which god you managed to upset to get yourself into this position, friend, but you seem all right to me. So, I'll tell you what. I'll keep doing whatever I can to help you. And you just focus on finding a way to break the cycle you're in.
You're a good man, Galerius. Oh! It's here. You're a good man, Galerius.
Oh, that's kind of you to say. Now, I'm going to keep your secret. Although, it's not as if I'll remember this next time we talk anyway, right? Oh, and if our conversations ever start to annoy you, just tell me you're busy. I know when I'm not wanted. May fortune smile on you, friend.
May fortune smile on you, Galerius. Ah, Desius.
Whatever's in that great temple up there on the bluff, I bet it's worth a fortune.
Did you just forget that you trapped me in the temple in the shrine of Diana? I won't bother with you right now. I'm looking for Ulpius.
Wow. Isn't that a big
Magistrate's
long
orders.
bow? You stay away from my money.
I'm looking for Ulpius.
Galerius?
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Scintilla.
Where is Ulpius?
I haven't slept right through.
Is Ulpius at Malleolus' manor?
From what I hear, nobody saw it coming. Anyway, I thought you stoics weren't supposed to worry about things you can't control.
Yeah, but I keep thinking, what if there is something I can do? What if she's out
This is Kabash's note about his dream of Kurti.
Sounds like you're torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods.
But the tablet is nowhere to be found.
Tomorrow's a new day.
I suppose you're right. Galerius?
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Scintilla. And I haven't slept right in 3 weeks.
Theophilus had an orgy with 4 girls here and disappointed all of them equally.
Anyway, I thought
What
you
helpful
stoics
messages
weren't
you
supposed to
leave
worry about
behind,
things you
people
can't
from the
control.
past.
Yeah, but I keep thinking, what if there is something I can do? What if she's out there somewhere suffering, waiting to be found?
Sounds like you're torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods. Try to relax. Get some rest.
Ulpius is possibly up there at the manor. Domitius?
Malleolus isn't receiving visitors at the moment, it being election day.
Well, who are you going to vote for?
Malleolus, of course. If old man Sentius can't even protect his own daughter, how can we trust him to protect us?
Well, I'll be going now.
Whatever. Just remember, I'll be watching.
Aha! These are climbable. Approach them. Space C to move up and down. Face away from the vines. And press space to jump away. Ugh.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and
honored to have been elected your magistrate.
I already have the key.
Thank you, I'm delighted and deeply honored.
That's Sentilia. Ulpius' lost love. Nope. I'm not sure what Ulpius is. What if I turn you into gold? Will that work? Let's see what's in the cistern.
Hey, you're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you?
I know about your creature. Don't worry about me.
Well, it's your funeral.
Let's see what Hannibal has on his person. We have a bow now. I'm not afraid to use it. You were probably the creature he was talking about. Lunar pendant. A lunar pendant. There's a Latin inscription on the back which reads Sendia Def. I should show it to Sentius. Going to need a lot of arrows. Bloody Mary, I am going to watch Hawkeye. Crushed creature. An emaciated human-like creature spattered in gold. It appears to have been crushed to death while entering the cistern from the cave beyond. If Hawkeye is going to be released every week, then you're gonna see me every week. I'm gonna be here on the stream. I'm gonna be gushing about Hawkeye. Freaking love Hawkeye. Ooh, 765. Is that it? Is that all we're getting out of here? I actually haven't played the Avengers game where they put in Kate Bishop and Clint Barton. I know Matthew's been wanting me to play that. I don't know why I haven't played it yet, but it's there. I haven't not touched the Hawkeye DLC yet. Oh. Oh. Huh. A Roman woman in the middle, a Roman woman in the middle of disrobing, as if she'd been visiting the baths. Well, let's see what's up here. Will this break the golden rule? Find a creative way into the upper cistern. I believe this is it. Lara Croft. I'm Lara Croft. It's a good thing I worked out. Yeah. Whew, I made it. Who are you? Why are you... Your chain... You there? Who did this to you?
You? Who are you? Did he send you?
I'm Daisy Barnes, and nobody sent me.
Do you know you're here? You have to help me escape before that monster comes back.
What's going on here?
I'm Scintilla.
Scintilla?
I found a way out through the Gate of Horn, but it's locked. So I told him about it, and instead of helping me escape, he locked me up. He wants to keep us all here forever, or until we're turned to gold. He's a monster. You have to let me go so we can kill him and take his key.
How hasn't this broken the golden rule? Loopholes. Who did this to you, Scintilla?
Sentius, my adopted
Sentius!
father. Furies help me. I'll castrate and crucify him.
Her own father. How hasn't this broken the golden rule?
I don't know. He said the gods are on his side because they don't want us to escape either.
Where is the way out?
Behind me. There's an aqueduct tunnel bringing water from outside the city, so it should lead us outside. The only problem is it's barred by a heavy locked gate, and he has the only key.
What will you do if I release you?
I'm going to take that key from around his neck, even if it means cutting his throat to get it. I'm done caring about the golden rule. I just want out. Help me, and we can escape together.
What about the others?
There won't be enough time. Just you and me. What do you say?
What if I round up everyone so that they're ready to escape once the golden rule is broken? After we kill your father.
There's no time. Wait, did you hear that? He's here. Quick, you have to let me go. It's now or never.
Scintilla. I'm going to help you in another loop. For now, I'm letting you go. Let's get out of here.
Oh, thank you. Now follow... Wait, did you hear that? He's here. He must be coming in through the door behind me. You distract him. Stay right here and keep him talking while I look for something I can use.
I'm going to break this time loop. But Sentius, you bastard.
What did you do with Scintilla? Where is she?
As if I'd tell you.
So that is how it's going to be. Oh well, this doesn't change anything for me. It's a shame, really. If you'd just done what you were supposed to, you'd have been looping through time forever until you gave up and killed yourself. Just like that soft-hearted pleb, Al.
You remember Al?
Come now. Surely you didn't think you were the only one here who remembered everything. You see, my connection to the portal somehow preserves my memories from one loop to the next. Whether that was Proserpina's intention or a happy accident, I'll never know. But I'm surprised you hadn't noticed. Here I was thinking you're a little bit sharper than Al was. Or perhaps you're just more willing to break the rules. was. He was a moralistic fellow, never once compromised on his principles. And because of that fatal flaw, he relived this day many thousands of times before we finally had this conversation. I watched him come through the portal each time, always a little older, a little more disheveled, a little more haunting. And when he finally saw the futility of it all, as you're about to, it broke him. He drank a jug of wine, tied a noose around his neck, and took his own life, just before he was shot with a golden arrow. The next time I awoke, you showed up, but you've caught up to where he was so quickly. I'd have preferred if you'd given me more time to enjoy the trappings of my success. How many extra days did you give me? Just the 5? Not a lot compared with Al, but I've seized every day, nonetheless. In any case, there's no escape for you except the path that Al took, the path he wrote about on his tablet. What was it? Ah, yes. Bastard. Better to end it all now than find out what awaits you beyond that portal. So, you discovered my secret. So what? What are you going to do about it?
You knew there was a way out, and even locked up your own daughter to keep it a secret. Why?
Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I have grown attached to all this. My title, my beautiful villa, the sun on my face, the music of birds chirping. And as long as this day keeps repeating itself, I get to enjoy it all, over and over again, for eternity. Don't you see? I have found a way to prolong my life indefinitely, to cheat death. I have become, in effect, as immortal as the gods. Can you honestly say you would not wish the same for yourself?
So you asked me to figure out who was going to break the golden rule, knowing I would fail every time.
Of course. There's no way you could have succeeded. Every soul who has ever found themselves here has broken the golden rule eventually. It is inevitable. Man will always sin sooner or later. Any idiot could tell you this. But where others might see tragedy, I saw opportunity. As I told you the first time we met, I found a way to cheat death. By reliving the same day over and over again, forever. And I will continue living long after your dust.
Well, let's see you cheat your way out of this.
Do you really think you can take on a Decurion with that flimsy little bird?
I probably could. But I'm going to let her have this one.
Who? Scintilla? Where is she?
I'm right here, Father.
We've broken the golden rule now.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Come on, we have to go. Hey, what's happening to you? That light, it's so bright.
We created the time paradox. If he's dead, he would never have summoned us. What? What? Al.
Hi there. Gave me a bit of a fray. Thought I was in here alone. I'm Al.
Al Worth. I came in here to find you.
Well, here I am. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name.
I'm Daisy Barnes. I was hoping you'd know who I am.
Funny you should ask. I was just reading an old tablet I found here. Well, trying. My Latin is kind of rusty, but the last entry mentioned someone with the same name. It described an event about 2,000 years ago. someone with your name appeared in the city out of the shrine of Proserpina. Freed an imprisoned woman named Scintilla, who then murdered her captor, breaking some kind of ancient law. It said the attack caused golden statues to come alive, hunting down everyone in the city and turning them into gold. Apparently, the only person to survive was Scintilla, while the stranger disappeared in a flash of light.
I couldn't go back to them. I need to go... I can't help those people now, can I? Well, now that was me.
What? You're saying you were here 2,000 years ago? I'm not sure I understand.
When I first arrived here in the present day, I found your corpse hanging from a noose.
I'm sorry, come again?
I still have the suicide note you carved into this tablet. Here.
Let me see that. God, why does this writing look so familiar? I've spent a lifetime in this place going around and around in circles. This is disturbing. But I don't understand how I could have written it.
It is written by a different version of you. I changed the past. And your fate.
I'm not following.
I'm not following either. I helped Scintilla kill the man who opened a time portal and drew you back in time, preventing it from ever happening. I broke the loop. But it cost everyone's lives. I acted in the moment. I shouldn't have... The right thing would have to take the key from Sentius. But I would have left Scintilla. For the sake of a future loop, it's all... I can't go back anymore.
So you're saying, because a man from 2,000 years ago is dead, he never created a time portal, so I never went through it, and that's why I don't remember any of this.
Now you're getting it.
I guess you saved my life then, as well as helping that poor woman to escape. That's a lot to take in.
Enough talk. How about we get out of this place?
Maybe we can escape through the same aqueduct Scintilla used, if we can find it.
It's right in this. It's right here in the cistern. Follow me. I let emotions get the better of me, chat. If we were more in control of our emotions, killing Sentius, now everyone is just... Is everyone dead or... Yeah, I guess everyone is just gold. Is this really a win? We did this.
I'm gonna pause here for a moment and make sure nobody else has ever lured into this temple.
Good idea.
You go on ahead, and I'll be there soon.
Every one of them is still trapped down there. I should have known. Sentius already said that his death would create a time paradox. The smarter thing would have been to take the key and leave Sentilia. Karen?
You're back! But you're alone. Does that mean you didn't find Al?
Why are you so interested in Al? Are you supposed to ferry Al into the underworld? Well, I found him. He'll be here in a moment.
Oh, what a relief. Thank you so much. I was beginning to think you'd both become trapped in there. Why don't you tell me what you discovered while we wait?
I discovered your real name is Karen.
Ah, I see. I thought you might. Well, now you know. I suppose you have questions.
Now I feel threatened. Who are you, really?
You can just call me Karen, if you like. I'm sorry I was not completely honest with you when we first met. I do not enjoy deceiving people. Believe me, I do not. But I have learned, from 5,000 years of experience, that most people find comfort in familiarity, in gradual change, and coming to see the truth in their own time.
And what truth is that?
That you died, of course. You were dead when I brought you here. My role, as the servant of the god of the underworld, has always been to assist the chosen to cross the threshold from the land of the living to the land of the dead.
How did I die?
Usually, when people do not remember how they died, it is because they suffered a terrible trauma. Most souls would rather not remember. Ask yourself honestly, do you really want to know?
Yes. How did I die?
As you wish. You were murdered. You were exploring an old tomb when you discovered a cache of forgotten relics, including 2 silver coins of ancient origin. Unfortunately, as you emerged into daylight, you were set upon by 2 thieves. A nearby hiker saw the scuffle break out and leapt to your aid, trying to help you recover your bounty. You both fought bravely, but your assailants were armed, and you were not. There was nothing you or your ally could have done. He died instantly at the scene, and you followed a few hours later. That man's name was Al Worth. You were each in possession of a sacred coin, called Karen's Opal by some, and so it was my duty to bring you here.
Al. Captain Panda, welcome to the stream. We've just gotten an unending of this game. It's... well, let's just say I was swept in the moment. I was not thinking straight. And I just doomed everyone else in the city. And only one person made it out of there. Karen is actually Karen. And apparently, Al Worth was by my side when we both died. What's so special about these coins?
Perhaps you have heard the tales of the Greeks and Romans burying their dead with a coin in their mouths to pay the ferryman for passage across the river. Well, those stories contained a seed of truth, but not any coin would do. A long time ago, my master created 1,000 silver coins and had me distribute them across the world. My orders were simple. Whenever a person died in possession of a coin, I was to locate them and ferry them here.
So what happened, Captain Panda, unless, I mean, it's a huge spoiler, it's the ending, but we found the missing daughter, Sentilia. And we found out the circumstances of her captivity. And we were betrayed. One thing led to another, and we created a time paradox. Everyone else was trapped, and only Sentilia made it out alive. But Charon, why all of this? Why?
That is a question you would have to ask him, if that were still possible, in light of the path you have chosen. I am just his servant, doing his bidding. Only now, I find myself bereft of purpose. You see, the coins on you and Al were the last of the 1,000 in existence. There is nobody else to ferry here, nobody to keep you company. After 5,000 years, the underworld has finally run its course.
Can you return us to the land of the living?
I see no point in keeping you here, but I have to ask one thing. That you keep this to yourself.
Look! Here comes Al now. Al! It's so good to see you. You were gone so long I thought I'd never see you again.
Kinda lost track of time in there. You wouldn't believe what we found. The ruins of a long-forgotten city. And there was a tablet describing an event 2,000 years ago. Supposedly, the city was destroyed when a woman murdered a tyrant with the help of, well, my new friend here. I know how crazy that sounds.
Maybe not that crazy. That woman. I don't suppose her name was Sentilia?
How could you... What?
She left a tablet of her own. I stumbled across it while I was waiting here. I think she meant for you to read it. Here, take a look.
I don't know what became of you, or if you'll ever read this, but I want you to know that I will never forget you, or what you did for me. It pains me that so many dear friends were not so fortunate. Ulpius, Sentia, Lucretia, Horatius, Galerius, poor Dooley, and the others. But please understand, their blood is on my hands, not yours. I will live with the consequences of my actions, and all I can do is move forward, trying to show others the same compassion you showed me. I promise you that saving my life will not be for nothing. Sentilia.
Try to help them all. You could have helped them all. We failed. But no, that way lies madness. I just hope Sentilia was able to live a good life.
Sounds like you meant a lot to her. I'd love to hear your story, but first, you two look exhausted. Why don't you hop in my boat and rest while I ferry you back to civilization?
Sounds good to me.
And you? Are you ready to go home?
Alright, Karen. Carry us home. How many might have survived if you confronted the god of the underworld? GG. I think we got the passionate down with the tyrant ending. In that moment it felt like the right thing, but in that moment I forgot about everything else. Sad reality is that in that moment, the prudent thing would have been to take the key, keep Sentilia trapped, and save them all in a future loop. But would that really have worked? And now we have to live with the consequences. We found our way out of the underworld. And I'll never know what happened to everyone else. Or what Sentilia did. But I think that concludes our first playthrough of the Forgotten City. Good stuff. There were so many ways to go about it, and I just ended up stumbling upon the entrance to the upper cistern, like, hey, where does this lead? Climb, climb, climb. Cue Snake Eater theme. And I just found her there. And it just all went rushing in. God. Yeah, Captain Panda, there were other ways to deal with it. There was the Hercules route, which was to confront Pluto himself at the temple. And there's another way as well to continue receiving the aid of Proserpina, also known as Persephone, and outwit Pluto. But in this case, we were just exploring, and we found ourselves in the heat of the moment, helping someone in need. But sadly, her life cost the lives of everyone we've gotten to know through our playthrough. I wanted to help Dooley. I wanted to get Galerius elected. I wanted to help everyone, and we were on the way to do so, but this loop had to end, and it just so happened to end in the heat of passion and anger and vengeance and justice. Justice delivered so swiftly. Yeah, I'd love to experience the other endings. But even now, I'm just... Obviously, I feel sad about leaving everyone behind. Looking back, I could have saved so many more people. But that last message from Sentilia, really great touch. A nice way to cap out this ending. You lost everyone, but there was one. And you just have to hope that she carried it forward. Who knows? Well done, modern storyteller. For those who don't know yet, this was actually a Skyrim mod. It had millions of downloads, and it was so popular that the writers and developers decided to make a standalone game for it, released this year. That's why you could see the trappings of the engine, the DNA of the... It really felt like a Fallout slash... Skyrim game. I never knew it existed. I just saw it on my newsfeed. I saw the premise of it. It had a lot of the things I'm usually interested in. Ancient history, supernatural elements, a mystery to solve, ancient ruins and hidden secrets. It hit all the checkboxes for me, and then I read more about it. It said, oh, it is a mod, and it won the National Writers Guild Award. Of course, it'll take some time to process it, but currently in the moment, right now, I am feeling that this was a great experience. In just a short amount of time, we only did like 3 sessions of this, and we only got one ending. But the thing with these games and multiple endings, after getting the first ending, I never really feel like the rest of the endings really... There's something off. I'm the type of player that in a game of choice and consequence, as much as possible, I try not to quick load. I try not to save scum. Things happen. Consequences happen. I receive an ending. And for me, that would be generally the most genuine ending for me. This was my playthrough. This was the archaeologist Stacy Barnes of the Miskatonic University, who perished at the hands of 2 thieves, alongside her friend, Al Worth. Al Worth would never remember me. I made a promise to Charon that all of this would remain a secret. The underworld has run its course. We were the last ones to be ferried away from it. And this was my story. Signed, Daisy Barnes. It's good. I think the writers knew that it would have been a heavy burden for a lot of players, for them to realize that, oh shit, I was so caught up with wanting vengeance against this guy, this man who kept everyone trapped, who chained up his own daughter to perpetuate this madness. And then you realizing that there was no turning back from it. That you doomed everyone else in that fit of rage and passion. And then the writers decided, here, you saved one person. Here's her final message to you. And it is a great way to balance that out. I can't get over it. It's good. There were a lot of leads we didn't get to resolve. But we were able to help a lot of people, at least. Did that matter? Did any of our previous loops matter? In fact, we only went through 5 time loops, apparently. 5. Those 4 timelines we left behind. Did anything that we do matter? If none of them remembered it, then everything just reset. If I was never brought back into the past, can't claim to understand how time travel works. Well, never will. But there is clear evidence that Centilia made it out, thanks to us. That is, if we ascribe to that theory of the timeline, of time travel, Bloody Mary. But if the whole point of the game was to create a time paradox, then those timelines would have never existed. The problem with the whole time paradox thing for me is that none of this is actually real. Because by its very nature, by being a paradox, we would never have gotten to this point if the previous event never happened, right? If Sentius never got to conduct that ritual, then we would never have even been able to rescue Scintilla. So again, these are all just things that we just really have to unpack. But in the moment, it's very satisfying, this experience. As a more or less, I guess you could call this game a walking simulator, but the interactions with the NPCs were great. The knowledge just given to you, drip-fed in a satisfying pace, just enough for this ending. In 5 time loops, I was quite invested in the people in this city. And we just had these big revelations, one after the other. And it rewarded me for exploring the Cistern. I decided on a whim, hey, I have a bow. Let's see what happened in the Cistern. We could have continued on with our investigation, but the game just threw a Scintilla at us, chained up in the middle of a cistern. And to give you that sense of urgency that Sentius was going to arrive and this was going to be a final showdown. And the fate of the loop would be decided in that moment. And a huge part of me was thinking, the most prudent choice was to leave Scintilla chained up. To take the key from Sentius. And find a way to free everyone. That's probably one of the endings. That's probably the best ending. But the first ending will always leave its impression. Mixed feelings, but in a good way. And this game was just carried on by its writing. Gameplay, barely any of it. It is really just me walking around, talking, taking down notes, learning about their relationships with each other. And it is satisfying. Sure, there was a bit of that action face going on, and even that still sticks with me. This person who was just broken by the fact that finding out these were actual human beings trapped in golden statues. And she just tried to save them. But it didn't work, and she caused more harm than good. Was it right to leave her? Or should I have turned her to gold? She was driven mad by being unable to help everyone, and in that sense, I kind of relate to her. But now that the underworld is truly gone, there's no turning back. What's kind of interesting is that Karen is just like, oh hey, you made it out. Well, I guess I'm gonna ferry you back to the land of the living. I guess part of Karen's job description wasn't to keep us in the underworld. You know, he just meant to ferry us. And we made it out on our own. So I'm so curious. There's a Hercules ending. There's the Orpheus ending. And there's a third ending, which I think will be... Well, there are 4 endings apparently, and we got one of them, which was on our own. Finding the truth on our own. Exploration. And they rewarded us for that. And that was the Forgotten City. We extended for a bit there, but thank you everyone who's tuned in. Hopefully this is a satisfying playthrough for you all, as much as it was for me. But in this short amount of time, in the 5 time loops, we finished the game in under 10 hours, and only got 1 ending. But there was already so much to think about. Clearly, these people, you know, they did the research. They thought, hey, these would be cool concepts to really challenge the player morally, and philosophically, and they just brought these concepts together, and they put the agency on us to really think about it, to really have a think about it. What is good? What is bad? What is sin? What is the right thing to do? And it just makes you really think about things. I really appreciated this playthrough. There's a lot to unpack and a lot to think about, and I appreciate games that do that. So, simple in execution, but well written. The Forgotten City, I would recommend this. For those who stayed in and saw the spoil, it is a huge spoiler, I know. But man, if you enjoyed this game and you think someone else will be able to get a kick out of this kind of adventure, I would recommend it. I would really recommend it. It is also good being able to reprise the role of Daisy Barnes, even just for a bit there, even not just reading the dialogue, but getting in character was a treat for me. Daisy Barnes is a player character I usually play for adventures such as this, especially when it has something to do with, you know, cultists and the eldritch horrors. So it is good reprising my role as Daisy Barnes, is getting to know all these people in the Forgotten City. Well done. I feel like we were able to experience enough for this. I may play the other endings off stream or YouTube it and really get to see everything it. But we're going to be moving on. We were able to seal one time loop. We already finished with 12 minutes a few weeks ago. We've just cleared up the Forgotten City. And now, the Thursday slots will be taken over by Deathloop. Yes, another time loop, but this time we fight back with guns and powers. So Deathloop, it's an immersive sim from Arcane, first-person shooter. And it also has these investigative aspects to it. And getting to know overt loops about the relationships between your targets and the people, and how best to exploit those weaknesses. So Deathloop was a great experience. I played it 2 days ago for a special extended stream. We're finished with the Forgotten City. I really enjoyed my time with this. But next week, on next Thursday, we'll be slotting in Deathloop for our Thursday Throwback Thursdays, or Time Loop Thursdays. And for those who haven't heard it yet, tomorrow, that is Friday, I will be continuing my playthrough of Life is Strange True Colors. The first episode already sent me through the waterworks. Yes, and we'll be playing a special extended stream. So 6 hours tomorrow. I'll be going through the second episode of Life is Strange True Colors, and hopefully maybe a bit of the third. The first episode really captured me, and I'd really love to continue that. Saturday, we're back to Ghost of Tsushima, and Tuesday, we're back to regular programming with Wildermyth. We still have some campaigns to go through there. But it's been a great 3 or so weeks, pushing on our 4th week streaming for the first time. It's so great to see all the regular faces here. But if you've been enjoying the content so far, enjoying the variety of the games I've been playing, and whatever insights I had on things, if this was an enjoyable listen for you, please consider following us on Twitter and Instagram. And if you want to talk about more games, films, tabletop role-playing games, anything under the sun, our Discord is slowly growing, I guess. All the links are down there below in our panels and Twitch. We also have a YouTube up there, which I still have to populate with these VODs. So hopefully it'll get more people who are currently asleep in this time zone to hopefully discover us and join our little community. But I really enjoyed streaming these kinds of games, being able to bounce my ideas off stream, and just making this whole playthrough a bit more satisfying. Being able to share it in the moment right now, and for people who are just watching this in the future as a VOD, thank you for being here, and thank you for taking your time to watch. So, have a great day, everyone. This is Mikey of Tabletop Cinema. This has been The Forgotten City. You just played it to our first ending. And we'll be moving on to the next time loop next week. Take care, everyone.